Uh, right. So in the last assignment, we used just plain old React. In this case, we're going to be using Redux for maintaining state. Um, so we're going to add to the current application that you've been working on. We're going to install Redux and React Redux, and we're going to be adding a couple things to the course service. Right now, the course service only allows you to manipulate courses, modules, lessons, and topics. Right? We're going to add a couple more things to it that will allow us to manipulate widgets, be able to create widgets, find widgets, delete widgets, update widgets, and whatnot. Yes, and they're going to be the sole containers of the data, the sole owners of the data. We're going to also ask you to create a reducer, a widget reducer, and that is going to keep track of various events, right, that are going to be generated throughout the application as you interact with it. For instance, being able to create a brand new widget, delete an existing widget, update a widget, find a particular widget, and find all widgets given a particular topic, and find all the widgets. We're asking you to create the container that's going to do the connection between the widget list component and Redux, right? So do that in the widget list container. Whereas the component itself is going to live under components. And it's going to be called the widget list. The widget list is going to render this. It's going to iterate over an array of widgets, right? And depending on the type of widget, it'll render different ways. It'll render as a heading or a list or as an image and whatnot. Right. So this describes a little bit the same things that we described in an earlier assignment. I think assignment number 1, I think it was. Widget buttons, delete widgets, so that stays the same. It's the same description as earlier, but now we're going to actually do it. Right? We're actually going to be building this. Just describing the fact that you can do a preview. That each widget has a preview that as you edit the widget, as you edit a heading widget, for instance, and you change the text and you change the size. As you change it, the preview changes, on the fly. It changes on the fly. But when you select preview, right, everything disappears. Everything disappears, and only the preview itself stays, right? But not even the label preview stays, right? Only the actual heading text here. So it would look something like this. Heading text. See that? When you click on preview, everything else disappears. What else? Then it goes through each one of the widgets and what they look like. For instance, the heading widget has a text. It has a drop down on the size. The paragraph widget has an text area and some where in the preview, as you type in the paragraph, it shows it. The list widget has whether it can be ordered or unordered. And each item you can type in each item in a text area, one line item per line, and it dynamically renders as down below in the preview. And as you select the different types, it renders either ordered or unordered. The list type drop down. This drop down changes the type on the fly. Right. So I can right here change this to a heading, and it changes the form entirely, so that it shows the form for the heading, right? And if I go back to the list widget, it would show again the list widget. Right? So it would not lose its spot on what information it might have had. The image, the link. Okay. Make sense? Yes. The content, so it hides the content for any of all the other widgets. It only shows the content for that particular type of widget. So imagine it were all the widgets are really live together, but you only ever show the one you selected. Right. So the widget is really a collection of all the data for all the types of widgets. Right. But you only display the one that has a particular type. So you could have data for all of them, right, and images for the images widget, paragraph for the paragraph widget, but you only ever display the one that has a type, right? It's a denormalized implementation of widgets, okay? Yes.
How does the preview know which widget does it have to preview? Like, there'll be a preview for all the
No, it will only do the preview of the currently selected widget. It's from the dropdown, right? As you change the dropdown, right, each one will have its own preview. Right? So each widget would have a form and a preview, a form and a preview, right? So and only the one that is the dropdown is selected will show and hide all the other ones. So you will only see the preview for the one that is currently for the currently type. If you have two list widget, each one will have its own preview on the same page. Yeah, you can have any number of list widgets. You can have any number of headings, any number of images, right, of widgets inside of the same page. Right, and each one will have its own preview, its own data, its own everything. Yeah, but each widget instance can flip to be any of the other types. That same one widget. Okay, so that one single widget can have information about an image, a paragraph, whatever, but only the one for that type will only ever be shown for that particular instance.
Yeah, but it might be have like a heading widget and a list widget and a paragraph widget and a
Yes.
preview. So which one will give?
So something like this, right? So these are two different widgets. Okay, so really, every single widget will have all 5 types of widgets. But only the one that the dropdown is selected will show. So all the others will disappear. Right? And when you select here, all the other ones will disappear. So this one might be heading, and this might be heading. Right? And this will have its own form, its own preview, its own form, its own preview.
Preview is on each widget.
In each widget. Yes. Okay. Eventually, this will go out to the server and store it in a table, right? And each one of these fields will be stored as a single row in a denormalized schema. Okay. All right. So let's get started here.